be rewarding. You know,
It's
I think
tremendously rewarding.
Yeah, I think any time that you're totally or involved totally with the whole project.
Absolutely.
And where you have control.
Absolutely.
Control, that's the magic word.
It is the, well, it can, if you do it so that you will have control.
Yeah.
If you say, well, look, I as an actor, I've been pushed around too much, and they don't use the good takes, and they cut away in my good scenes, and I want the control. If it's control that's attractive, control of material, I don't think has ever been the useful motive of any creator. Coziness with material,
Yeah.
affinity with material would be perhaps a more useful.
Yeah. Mike, do you have what you need there? Okay. All right, we'll start then. Okay. Well,
Do you
Anthony,
agree?
I suppose, except that so many actors just keep tossing that word control at me.
Maybe they're actors who wish they had it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, here you are in Dallas to help promote and kick off Psycho 3, which you directed, and that's your directing debut.
Mm.
So, Anthony, I just have to ask you if now that it's over and you're looking at the finished product, if you're just eager to direct again, or if you're saying, well, that's it, I've done it, and that's it.
Well, you know, many actors will take on one film to direct, and then they'll go back to being actors. And that may be because they haven't realized how long it takes and how much it takes out of you. Most actors who have worked on the screen all their lives and worked on television all their lives are used to dealing with new material every day. And of course, as a director, you deal with the same material for weeks, months, years. It can go on for a very long time. I happen to like that, but I've done long runs on Broadway all my life, so perhaps I'm more used to dealing with the same material on Tuesday that I dealt with on Monday.
To me, perhaps the main difference between this Psycho and the previous ones is that this one is just full of humor. And I'm wondering if you set out to do that, or if that just sort of evolved as you were working it.
Well, the humor must be brought by the audience. If the humor is introduced to the audience by the film, then they will draw back from it, I believe. That's the second part of the question. But the first part is how we have forgotten how, and some of us were too young to remember the original Psycho, and how strongly and loudly audiences laughed at that film. In fact, Hitchcock was totally nonplussed at the amount of audience murmur and as much laughter as there was, and he was, for the first time in his career, taken aback by an audience. He hadn't thought that would happen. In fact, so out of touch with what the audience would do with the film, it disturbed him enormously. He wanted to take all the prints back and redo the sound so that more of the dialogue could be heard. Some of the dialogue in the original Psycho was lost in the audience's laughter. Subsequent viewings in small revival houses and on people's home equipment obviously take that sound of the laughter away, and the fact that we're more familiar with the material. But actually, Psycho 3 conforms to the original in its evocation of laughter from an audience.
Were you put out about the laughter from the audience at first?
Oh no, no. As I say, I would not have liked it if I'd felt that I had been responsible for leading the audience and telling them to laugh. But Psycho 3, like all the other Psycho, like the other two Psycho films, is done in deadly earnest, and it must be done that way. If it isn't done that way, the audience won't supply their own humor for it.
Anthony, did you ever feel as you were working and directing that the spirit of Hitchcock was hovering around you someplace?
Well, there were days when I sort of wished he'd been at my side to tell me what to do, that's for sure.
What kinds of problems then were you encountering?
Oh, the daily problems that a fledgling, untried movie director will experience every day. You have your list of things which you feel will be those that will be asked of you and problems that you're prepared to solve, but those never come up during the day. It's always another bunch of problems that you never realized that you would have to even consider that day. Those are the ones that people run breathlessly up and say, well, we can't use this. This is no good. It's raining, and so we'll have to do this other scene, but she didn't show up, so is it all right if we substitute this actress? And you think, well, wait a minute, that wasn't on my list. twist. So you have many, many surprises all day.
If Hitchcock were to see Psycho 3, what do you think his reaction would be?
Well, he had passed away by the time we started working on Psycho 2, but his widow encouraged us. She read the script and she said, "Hitch would approve." That was her quote. And I thought that was nice of her. She could have, after all, just made something else up. But she encouraged us to make Psycho 2, and then she also departed, but their one and only child, their daughter Pat, saw Psycho 2 and was very enthusiastic. So at least the idea of telling more Psycho stories was agreeable to the Hitchcock family.
And it looks like there could be a Psycho 4. I mean, as far as the story's concerned, look, do you think there might be?
Oh, I don't know. This wouldn't be the time to think about it. I think if you set apart your mind to say, well, we'll do this in this picture, and then we'll save a little bit for the next picture, and then who knows, we'll do another picture. I think the picture you're working on becomes a little threadbare and a little uninteresting. You have to put everything you have into the film you're making. You can't reserve a few moments or a few ideas for another film. It's not fair to the high prices the tickets are demanding these days. I mean, you have to give everything you've got to the film you've got. You can't withhold.
But if the opportunity came along, would you direct another one?
I can't think about it, really. I don't know. I'd direct another film, but I don't know about another Psycho film. They'd have to have a good story. Story is everything. I don't know what they can do now. Norman ends up Psycho 3 in something of a spot.
Doesn't he? Mm. Well, I'm sure a good writer could carry on.
Could get him out of it? I don't know.
Okay. Anthony, thanks for coming to Dallas. It's nice to see you again. And I hope that Psycho 3 is a big hit for you.
Thank you.
Last night's audience sure enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought they liked it. Mm.
Must